Jab cross.
What's going on, everybody? It's Coach G and Coach Henry from Final Round Training, and we're here to bring you the 3 best drills that are guaranteed to make you hit harder.
That means more damage, easier knockouts, and less hits on your face. All right, guys. So the number one problem for a lot of you fighters out there that are throwing a million punches and getting no results is your lack of power. Why are you getting lack of power? You're not rotating. You're not adding that extra sauce to your punches. All right, so sometimes you might just shoulder punch like this, jab cross. You don't really see a lot of rotation in G shoulders. There's not a lot of footwork. It's just a real light tap, 1-2. But now if he was to step into his jab and rotate the hip into the cross, it's going to sound a lot better. One more. And that sounds like a knockout right there to me.
A lot of fighters think that power is a natural thing. You're either born with it or you're not. That's not always the case. A lot of times we can train to become more powerful. Now, one of our favorite things to do is some weighted rotational cable pulls. This is an excellent exercise to work on your obliques. You're strengthening the rotational motion that we do when we're throwing all of our punches. Not only that, you're learning control. A big part of power is learning how to control your rotation, when to stop it, when to accelerate. Now, in working rotational strength, we do want to work the rotation, but another thing that's very important is stabilization. Doing things like a Pallof press is still working the same oblique muscles that we use for rotation, but we're doing it in a stationary position or a stabilized position. Now, if you don't have a cable machine to use nearby, that's okay. You can get the same benefit with a resistance band. You can pick any one of these up at your sporting goods store, and you can get the same rotational and stabilized work from the cable machine.
All right, guys, exercise 2 out of 3. We're going to work on explosive rotational movements. So we're going to use a medicine ball against a padded wall. Every time G slams down, he's sitting down into his low stance. When he shoots across with the straight arm, he's adding the rotation from the hip for a nice solid cross. Good. Now, if you want to up it up just a little more, if you notice now, he's going to add a rotation with his whole body as he throws the cross. Still originating from the hip, but now he's going from a square stance to a fighter stance and exploding forward hard with the cross. This is just in case you get caught off guard and your feet are square, you're not ready to fight, you're not stepping slow, you're turning quick, pop, and you're hitting your opponent with a nice hard cross. All right, guys, last thing, you still got to throw hard and keep your balance, all right? You can still throw your hard shots in front of a mirror. Shadow boxing is a good way to do it, making sure you're still adding rotation. 2 things I'm going to give you real quick. Every time you want to throw a nice hard shot, think of putting your head right over your leg. You should be able to get nice solid rotation. Another thing, if you listen to G breathing, he's controlled breathing. It's not long, gassing himself. Nice, tight, solid breathing with all of his punches. If you can breathe like this with all your punches, you're guaranteed to last longer, hit harder. Let's train.
Now, once you've worked on your weighted rotational movements, once you've worked on being more explosive, the last step is simply to apply it to live training. You want to work on punching hard, whether you're on the heavy bag or on the pads. Doing simple things like throwing one punch at a time and focusing on power with just that punch. Doing things like slipping so you're loaded and coming back with power off the slip. If you don't actually practice throwing hard punches, it's never going to translate into a real fight.
All right, fighters, so just a quick recap. Remember, if you want to hit harder, get a lot more knockout power, you got to add in that explosive rotational work to begin with, making sure you're moving those hips and those legs for all your punches, and you got to hit harder on the bag. I mean, if you can't hit hard, you're doing nothing.
And we as coaches know that all the hard work you could put in the gym doesn't mean anything if you have a bad diet. If you've been struggling to lose weight and you want us to help you, click the link down below where you have access to our weight loss shortcut. We're going to help you lose 20 pounds in just 6 weeks. See you there, guys.